This collection is called the Wintering Collection. In German, it's a Winter Collection. And this wintering, it's a definition I brought from author Catherine May, her book called Wintering. And she defines this word wintering, meaning it's about dwelling in the times of uncertainty and maybe at times of shadows in your life. And it's about really embracing and enduring. And almost we're kind of going into the hibernation stage and sleeping in it or kind of waiting until the spring. And she says, after this season of wintering is over, we will realize that we decide that we go into the spring and we also find the great and beautiful possibilities that is stronger in us. As an artist living in a time when social media is always pushing me to express and visually show myself and my work, I decided to take this word or take this definition as an advantage for me to really go into the wintering stage and to be in this winter season as fully as I can. It meant I was going deeper into my isolation and independence of my work, which I explored color palette that I've never done before. I explored new compositions and I tried to incorporate new elements that I never did before because I wanted to go deeper in my isolation of my work to find the deeper light and the power inside me. So we tend to not feel right or we feel wrong when we are kind of outside from the community or the society, especially when we're alone. But this term wintering means that when we choose not to run away from this important state and simply embrace, we actually become a bit more stronger and to realize there is a stronger side that really lets us go through this difficult season or a creative block that you might be in. So, especially if we talk about this creative block, or maybe I'm in a state where I don't want to do anything, it's about simply not trying or pushing yourself, or maybe just simply stopping. But it's important to hibernate in that state, to endure that state, and see the positive fruits that this season will actually bear after this winter is over, until the season of spring comes of your life. And when that season comes, you'll realize that you are stronger and that you have actually made that little new leaf that is growing out of your branch. So this collection is very focused about my wintering season that I had recently, and I wanted to embrace my isolation and my independence as an artist from the world, from the social media, and from even the closest people around me. And this collection is about confirmation and enunciation that I am confident to really embrace the difficult times in my work, the insecurities of the environment that I might be in, or the things that I don't want to encounter, but getting ready to encounter. And this sketch was a preparation for the collection. I took all day to create the sketches, to really prep for the work and to decide on the things that I really wanted to decide. Took notes of the things I really wanted to include and not omit. But also, other than that, the sketch or this process of sketching was kind of like a process of hibernation too, because I usually don't make sketches, but making this sketch really gave me time to reflect on what kind of attitude and what kind of emotional path do I want to take through this collection, which was very a special time of sketch for me.
So I was back in Alabama for the weekend. I used to live in Alabama about almost 2 years, and I commuted to school like twice a week. It was a long drive, and my dad's still there, and I have some friends back there, so I visited after my break and as soon as I had time because I missed them. And there are my favorite thrift stores there. It's called Timeless Antique Mall, and it's located in Valley, Alabama, and there's also a Valley thrift store. So Valley thrift store is literally a local thrift store, and I usually donate my stuff there too. And Timeless Antique Mall is actually a mall that's very, very big, and it has like booths where people put their vintage or used things on sale, and I used to go there so often. So I went back to find some goods for my junk journals, and I had some things that I was looking for, and I brought some goods, so I really wanted to show you. So first thing first, I was excited to find this jar of buttons. I was originally looking for a jar of buttons or jar of beads because I've always seen them in vintage malls and thrift stores, but back then I didn't make junk journals, and I was like, oh, they're so cute, I really want it, but I don't know where I'm going to use it, so I always passed by it. But since I've been making junk journals, I'm almost done, I was like, I really want to use vintage buttons or charms or beads that will actually be on the charms of the junk journals. So this was, it's a huge jar just with used buttons, and I looked through really thoroughly, and I realized there's a lot of vintage ones and just mix and match. And I thought that would be perfect for my charms that I've been making for, because that's my last step for my journal. And I'm just going to show you one journal that I finished and that has charms on it. And I put the charms like this on the end of the journal, and look, it makes sound, and I just love how it's dangly, and I love the circular forms. I think it's so cute. And next, at the same store, I found some vintage hair accessories, and they were in the same section, so I think the same owner made it. And I love this one. I love the fabric, how it's like very winter warm brown, and there's a clip at the back. All of them has a clip at the back. Look at this one. It has it's like a cushioned ribbon. I think it'd be nice if I have like a bun up here and then have that one. And this is a similar one, but it's black, and it has a similar texture with the first one, and also a similar shape. I really like that shape. It's kind of easy. It seems like very easy to make, but it's very elegant, and I would love to wear it. I think it's such a winter piece that wouldn't overwhelm my outfit. Next is, I've always been looking for this, and I always wonder, like, these are so cute, but how am I supposed to use it? And there we go. I'm probably going to use it on my junk journal covers. I'm probably going to maybe cut these floral parts or use the lace part a lot and kind of put it on on top of a junk journal. For instance, I have a fabric junk journal here that I just made. It's almost done, and I could kind of attach this floral piece onto the junk journal on the cover. And I think even the edge of the lace, I could really use it to maybe go around the junk journal like this, use the lace to go over the junk journal to create that edge. Unique. This has a purple and yellow flower edge. And next is vintage books. So I've been looking at creating junk journals through used books or very old books. So I was looking for old books, but I couldn't really find it at Goodwill. And I realized I really need to go to like thrift store, like local thrift store or vintage malls, because they usually carry old books that's like almost ripping apart. I went to a local thrift store, like not vintage mall, just a local thrift store in Valley. That's where I'm from, Valley, Alabama. And I got like 4 books I'm about to show you, and they were 88 cents. And this is the first book. It has, look how old this is, and it has a printed cover. It's about like a sea, probably a sea story, and even the back, like this. It's very yellow because it's so old, and I love that beige sepia tone because it's so old. And even inside, I mean, I can still smell that store. So I'm probably going to cut out this part over here, and when I cut it out, I could attach my binded signatures on here, and I'll just use the leftover book parts, the signatures, just as scrapbook, or it could be a part of a signature, and like that. This is another book. I think this book is so cute. Like, it's so old, but I mean, it's holding there. It's about our pets, I think. And it's old like this too. I'm trying to. So I look at the cover a lot when I am choosing the books. I go through the cover front and back, how old it is, if it's kind of attachable and it's kind of sticking on there. And surprisingly, this is actually a children's book, and it has color in it. And I just thought, oh, I could definitely use these inside signatures as maybe part of a cover or just part of scrapbook. And it's very sepia yellow. It has faded away so beautifully. Okay, next is just a novel book, but I loved how it's so old at the cover right here, and it has a little decorative house printed on the cover itself. And I just thought the title was so interesting, A Vanished World. And this is probably one of the oldest book out of all I bought, because if you see the paper, look how old that is. It's beautiful. And inside too. The last book that I got at the thrift store, and look how it's a children's storybook, and I loved the spine here, and also look how old is on top on this, how it's faded up here, and I really adored the title, kind of engraved in gold. And I kind of imagined this as a sketchbook. I could probably rip off some sketchbook papers and bind it here in perfect size for a sketchbook. And this is also colored inside, and it could probably be a very good material for, I could just use these as part of signature papers. And I just love colored fairy tales like this. And this last book, I actually got it at a vintage mall, and it was $3. It was the most expensive book, but I had to get it because it was the green that I love, and the illustration at the front, it was so adorable. And even how it's very old on the side, I just thought this could be a perfect sketchbook also, but even a huge journal, like a big journal, like a big chunky journal. And this also has full colored stories inside, which I thought it was so pretty. Like everything is well colored, and it has different stories by chapter, and they are all fully illustrated. And last but not least, ribbons. Even though I got a lot of ribbons at a thrift store close here in Decatur, I looked at this color. I was like, I gotta get the ribbon. And it was $1 each, I believe, $1.75, I believe, and it was full. Like, it wasn't used at all. So I have this much to go, and I already hung a ribbon to my dog's paw print baggie kind of a thing, or a gift thing. My dog passed away last year, and before I did her cremation, there was a thing that they make a clay and give a paw print of my dog, and I kind of kept it since then, and I replaced the ribbon into this green, and I thought it was so cute. Her name was Chevin. You'll probably be able to find the Junk Journal vlog already, but I'm so excited to use these amazing thrifted materials for my new creations. I didn't mean to set up this in this fancy way to do my intro video, but I just had a little, photo shoot after my first layer. And as you've seen, I did a little sketch to plan out the winter series that I'm planning for my break. And I was just kind of excited using gold and just starting a new work of collection again when I'm not in school, like without any purpose, but just for myself. So I was kind of excited. So I did a little photo shoot. That's why it's a little, well set. And I just wanted to touch base on, I am starting a 3-piece collection. I usually really like to keep it as their minimum of diptychs because I like creating collections and seeing cohesive palettes and elements in multiple pieces because it's stronger, and I like to have that limitation of one boundary but many pieces because I learn more from that. So I was just going to really tap on where I'm going, and I honestly don't know, like I'm a planner, but I like to go out of the plan sometimes. I just get rebellious towards plans. I'm kind of excited. I hope I could get the whole collection done. That's my goal before I go back to Oklahoma, back home for Christmas. And having no purpose or goal, but just to create. And I'm trying to let go of the things that I did regularly, like the orders that I usually had layers on, or the way that I planned my composition, or the things that I used to use. I'm planning to use new things, and one of them is dried flowers. I've been collecting dried flowers intentionally because I always buy flowers, but I never thought about actually really using them and letting them dry. And even after they're on the work, they're going to, decay. And I learned from an artist that I met recently, Sarah Lindsay, that said that's part of the art. And I always threw away my dried flowers because I always buy flowers when I go grocery shopping. But I realized that it's a really important part of my life, and it has the time of my space, the studio, and my breath, my temperature, whatever. It's accumulation of my life, and these are just oatmeal jars or mason jars, and some of them I actually got it from Atlanta, which is a secondhand art store in Atlanta, and also my pasta jars too. So I just seeing them on my shelf is very satisfying, and I'm very excited to bring them to life. I don't know how, but I'm going to try in this collection. I love the season of winter. It's one of my favorite seasons, and I just wanted to be inspired by that season and be excited by the coldness, the clothes that I get to wear, sweaters, warmth, and the people gathering for Christmas, things like that. And I am looking for a new palette. I do love green. It's going to be part of my palette, but I do want to try or retrieve some palettes from the artists that I've been looking into. I think so far my first layer already looks like an artwork, doesn't it? So I just wanted to show some pieces in close, and this is the first piece. It's a square piece. This was one of the last pieces that was empty, like it was a new panel. But as you see here, these are not leftover, but remainage of resin, because when I did my resin work, I used this panel as like a panel under it so it doesn't go all over my floor. And this resin created under the surface, which I thought it's another like a relief element, which I love texture. So I just left it and it dries. Some of the resin is still actually wet, but I might as well use it as a glue. And after that, I wanted this piece to have the arch from my previous work. I loved having the arch to create that muka look. And after that, I created a landscape. As you remember my first sketch, or the sketch that I did on my sketchbook, it has a landscape, so I decided to add that landscape as a collage. And I added some other pieces like sticker and mulberry paper. These are all just leftover scrap paper from my book binding. And after that, I put gold in it. And gold was something I was very hesitant for a long time, even though many people did recommend. Many people said gold would look really nice on my koi fish or the beluga or the little details of the figure. But I don't know, I didn't have confidence to really pull that gold out in a elegant way. I didn't want the shininess to really take over my composition or image. So I held it, even though I had like this bunch of gold sheets in my cupboard. But during my art lesson that I do every week, my student wanted to do gold sheets, and we explored gold sheets, and it was so fun. And I started to open my eyes more towards gold, and I decided to give it a try. And this is my large piece. It's about 30 by 40. It was actually an old panel that had a huge portrait artwork in it, but I decided to, give it a new life, a second life. I just love giving second lives to my works, because I just think everything has a season, and according to the season that I'm walking in, I want my work to reflect that too. And sometimes those seasons are, reflective of what I'm going through, what's new to me, and what I want to toss in. I don't know if you could realize, this part was actually a face. It was a face. It was a painted face, and this was actually the crown of the face. That's why I switched it, so it doesn't look like a portrait. The body was here, and it had flowers that's kind of diagonally going across. And I wanted to keep that composition, so I kept the flowers. But other than that, I ripped off the fabric of the body and the hand, and I just collaged all over, especially the face area and the hand area. Even though this is going to be a portrait anyways, but I just wanted to get rid of the personality that was under it, so there could be a new face, a new personality. And these are also just these flowers that was already attached, and some of them were painted upon, some of them were scrapbook materials that kind of stuck on top of the layer. So I took them out and rearranged it, and you see there's a little photograph of me hiding under the gold. And I just think collage itself It really metaphors the scraps of my life, like little elements that's in my life. And we all have scraps or leftover papers, and I think everybody has different set of colors and textures of papers or the things that's remaining in our cupboard. And I think that represents my life and my memories and the things that I create. And I don't know, I like having those come together and see what it represents and what it looks. And I think that really shows who I am or the colors that I am currently reflecting. And this is on the last panel. Do you see the face used to be here? It was a figure work also, but I decided to cover that. This is going to be, I don't know if this is going to be a figure or an abstract, but we'll see.
Wintering also meant a lot of reflection. I read a lot of books and wrote long, long diaries. Yes, to be honest, writing long diaries doesn't come in one day. It really takes your time of sitting down and moving your pencil or typing. And you'll be really surprised that maybe on your fifth day, maybe on your second month, you will realize that you are writing the things that you are not recognized by your conscious, but you are writing things that you have never even thought of, but your true emotion and your true creative passion is coming out. So I really took time. I really set up a time to write and, of course, to add stickers and to washi papers. But wintering is a time of reflection and really looking back at yourself. So I just got this new projector and I was thinking about projector for a really long time to use this as like a messenger to transfer my photography to my canvas or wooden panels, because I had like photographs already created, like with double layouts and with all kinds of creative things that I do. I really wanted to use photography right away to my wooden panels or canvases, but I could have sketched everything at once, but I just thought really reflecting the photograph right away would be really helpful. This was just a test out just to see if my first purchase will be well tested, and this was like a used from Amazon. One of my students or friends that I met at school, we were just constantly talking about how she creates her artwork, and she says she uses Projector that she got gifted, and I was like, oh, maybe this is fun, I should really give it a try. So I'm gonna give it a try today. I waited until there was no sun in my room, that it's dark enough so this could really show and reflect my sketches as a photography, and hopefully go from there. I believe becoming an artist is not just making better art every day, yes, that too, but to become a stronger being through those creations that you create, to give positive fruits back to the community. The purpose of wintering here, the purpose of me choosing to isolate myself or to go into the studio or to really endure this hard times or uncertain times of my creativity is not to become alone forever. But ultimately, the purpose of all this wintering is to find the unique beauty in myself and also in my work. And finally, going out to the world to really show my light through my works. And I believe that will really influence the community around me, the people around me. So if you are choosing to go into that wintering phase, I really encourage you that you are being brave, because you will go into the depths and the levels of the possibilities that is lying in your quiet times and in your quiet creative times. But ultimately, you will not only become an amazing artist that create beautiful work, but also you'll become a stronger and a beautiful person that will impact not only the people around you, but the community and the society. Thank you so much for watching this vlog with me. I hope your wintering is going well, and see you in my next vlog. Bye bye.